In today's Heat gameplay review, I can just stay in first place most of the game. This is Brian from the Savage Board Gaming channel. I'm just going to review my latest race. This might be one of the best races I've actually had, so let's go through it here. We're on the USA track. It's a bonus cooldown on this section, and 3 of our Heat were shuffled into our decks. So, got a free boost here. Got a speed limit increase here. And we got a slipstream bonus here, right? So when I seen this map and I see slipstream bonus on this section of the USA track, I'm going to try to get a wing and try to like actually get through this, right? Because say if I'm like at the line with somebody else and they come around 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And I have a like slipstream bonus of 2, right? And I follow them, come around 1, 2, 3, 4. I can either get to the line or sometimes I can go through both turns, right? So both corners here. So that's the goal here on this one. This turn on the USA track, to me, is pretty much the key to this one, right? So I am going to be picking 3rd and 6th in this draft. So I see there's the wings here, and I'm like, I doubt I can get them. If I have to, I guess I could take tires also, right? Because they also increase the turns by 2. So let's go through the draft here. So starting with Amendiez. He's about right around my rank. The other players I think were actually below elite, so let's go here. Fix the 4-wheel drive with the plus. It's a good card. Especially on this section here. Maybe on this section if you have bad cards and you only have like stress, it might be the difference of getting you to the end here, right? Okay, took tires +1 to movement. It's okay, but it's not going to get you far enough, I think, you know? So, if it gets to my turn, I see the wings, I'm obviously going to take that, right? So I'm like, okay, well, the tires are going to be taken. What else can I grab from here? I'm like looking at this suspension, thinking about the 2-4 brakes, you know. Those are the ones I was really looking at. Maybe even this if I get desperate, you know. But let's see what we get here. They take the 1, 2, 3, 4 brake and the 2 suspension, right? I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this is here. So I take the tires. And the reason why I do that is, even though they're good on the turns, they're really good on these straightaways, right? So it's like a double boost, right? And on here, we have a free boost, right? So there's 3 boosts with plus whatever cards I play, right? So I take it. 2-4 brake gets taken. Tires -1 with the cooldown. Yeah, if you think you'll need the cooldown, I guess. I don't like lowering the speed of corners at all. So maybe if you play it in the straightaway and cool down some heat. All right, second round. I'm going 2nd and then 7th. So what I really like is I see this right here. This is also really good. I probably could have picked this up, but I just decided to play it safe and go with the one that doesn't cost heat, right? That way I know I'm going to be able to play it. I don't want to get to a corner where I can slipstream but not have enough heat to do so. That's not very conducive to winning here. So I'm thinking like, okay, I got the pretty much any card left here. I'm probably going to discard. The only thing that is, this is very consistent and can get you out of some trouble occasionally. But I normally use these as 5, but I have the double boost, so it's much better. So fuel with the cooldown. Those are nice because you can put cards back into your deck from your discard. So one of the 1/5s are gone, the other ones are gone. And I say to myself, okay, I'm not going to keep any of these, so what should I take, right? It's basically a blocking play, right? I take the cooling system. That way on these long straightaways, somebody can't keep cooling down while they're in like 3rd or 4th gear, right? I thought they were going to take this, but they take the gas pedal. Mendez does. Okay, so here we go. First turn. Well, you see I dropped that cooling system, right? I look at this opening hand and I'm like, no solid numbers that I know I'm going to travel a certain amount. So I just pick the two boosts or 2 stress. Hopefully I get big cards and then I'm going to boost, right? So I can stay in 2nd gear. I can get rid of one of the heat. Oops, I guess I should have done that. Like that. Okay. Okay. Got to cool down the heat. Okay. So I draw. A little bit better for this turn, right? Because it's an 8 now. And, you know, this is like right in this area somewhere is really where you want to be on the first turn of the game on this track. So as long as you're in here, you're good. You'll see we'll all be pretty close to each other. Uses 4-wheel drive plus to get to the line, right? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go 2, 3, 3. I'm in last place, so I can get another heat out of my hand because luckily I'm getting it all right now. I definitely would rather get it now than during these turns, right? At least this much heat. You know, 2 or 3 in your hand can get dangerous depending what you have. So if I start collecting stress, you know, you can't discard those or the heat. So a lot of times on these tracks, I stay a little bit behind everybody to try to position myself. I actually use my adrenaline to slipstream this guy. So Burt Sands, right? So that I have options of, you know, getting extra speed by using my opponents, right? Now the danger of that is if you don't keep up with them, some of your cards that you get are useless. But luckily I got like 2 4s here, so I at least know I'm going to the 6, right? So 6 right here. And a boost, right? So Plummy goes to the 3 spot. It's not really ideal because you're 4 away from going through the turn, right? But, you know, sometimes the cards dictate what you can do. Okay, Amendiez has gone to the 1 spot. This is a good position to go through turns in because a lot of players like to get right up to the line sometimes, and that means you have a chance to actually slipstream. So I get an 11, so I drew real good. So I played the 2 4s and got the 3 on the stress here. So I'm actually going to do this. This might make it a little bit easier. Okay, so now we can see the logs here. So I draw my slipstream and my wings, right? I think it's a great setup, right? We're going to use them up here, you know, in this area. That's the problem with getting stressed in the beginning. Sometimes you can actually discard those cards, but you'll see I'm actually on my 2nd time through my deck already. So actually during the first round I actually discarded them due to the stress. So okay, so Mendiez goes 4. I go 4 because I thought, let's get rid of these 2s. They're not going to be useful in the straightaway. We can keep the 1 just in case we need it for this turn up here. So a little bit of forethought, you know, went into this decision here. So I really would like to save this tire for the straightaway. You know, this well, it's not straight, but you know, there's no actual corners that you have to take. You know, so that's what I'm going to try to save this unless I get desperate, right? But seems like everything just went my way this race. Especially in the 2nd lap. Seemed like Boardgame Arena took pity on some of the games they've dealt me. Okay, so I didn't count how many rounds that we've actually raced here, right? So let's look here. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. So let's keep track of that. So I'm going to go 10. Like I said, I sometimes like to pull back a little bit. Let people get in front of me, especially in this area, right? This is where we're targeting. We want to be able to slipstream. I can't do that if people are behind me. So I just go the 10. Got real lucky with the stress. If I was shorter, then I would have used my wings to catch up a little bit. So I had options. Because as much as I would like to play both of these at the same time, right? That's 7 through here, right? And I'll do the math here for you in a second so you understand why I couldn't do that. The other good thing about this RPM is that you can just use it as a regular 3 if you really want to, you know. Nothing says you have to save it for these corners, but obviously that's the power it has on it, so there's no reason not to. Then Bert Sands does me a favor, and he also decides to go up to the line here, so I got options, you know, of who to slipstream off of. And look, we're all together. So these next 2 turns are basically how I win this race. So I decided to not use my wings here, right? I use my 3, I use my 1. I'd say the next 3 turns are how I win, right? So I can go 4. That way, if green goes 4 and red goes 4 and slipstreams, I can still do what I want to do, right? I won't be a space behind. Okay, went 4. Bert goes 3. Then slipstreams 3 spaces because of the bonus here. I also go 4 so I can then slipstream all the way to the line here. This is a good time when you want to get to the line because unless Amendi has had like another slipstream like I had, they're not going to be like right behind me. I'm going to have a little bit of space, right? So he does, also does a 4, and then I can only slipstream 3, right? Now I don't want to be slipstream here, so I use my wings to go 5. I can cool down the heat and then pay the heat. I had to scrap 2 cards, but that's fine because the setup I have here is very good. I got my tires. I have 4, a 3, and a 3, so that's 10 right there, plus whatever. So I know they're going to get through this turn like I did. There's nothing to prevent that. Just how close will they get to me, right? Well, I see Bert Sands do this, right? I'm like, oh, well, Mendiez can go here and then slipstream 3, 1, 2, 3. Or he can go 1, 2, 3, pay the heat, and slipstream 2. Because this bonus only happens, before this line. But he does something I didn't expect. I don't know if he was trying to guess where I was going to be at. But he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It cost him 3 heat, right? So I'm not sure if he remembered I got that wing card, or if he thought I was just going to move 3, But yeah, I prevented that slipstream. So let's get Plummy going here. He goes 5, has to pay his heat. So the heat is being burnt here, right? Where, maybe you have to assume that, maybe Bert was going to stop here, Just go up to the line, then slipstream, save yourself a heat, Okay, I set this up pretty good. I got a 3 and a 2 off of this card, so going 15. And then I'm going to boost because it's free. I get a foursome, made it all the way to this corner. This is another time where it's okay to be right at the line because I just moved 19 spaces. So if they can move 19 spaces, then congratulations, basically, Especially when you don't have heat, Kind of limits what you can do, So Mendiez is stuck there. Plummy gets a little bit further, I believe. Yep. No, he doesn't. Who gets... I thought somebody almost catches up with me here. Maybe I was wrong. Oh, yeah. Bert's is really way behind. So me being in the lead this long, is very, like, I would say, like uncharted territory from how I normally play. I like to be like in the pack, but like maybe in the middle, where I can drop back to fourth if I need to cool down, or I can slipstream to catch up, right? So I didn't have a real good hand for this turn. Didn't want to spend the 2 4s because I wanted to go through the straightaway. So I just spent a 1 in my 2 stress, because if I had to pay a heat here, that's fine, So I thought this was where I was going to, like, oh, everybody's going to catch up with me, right? Okay, Plummy gets to the line, but couldn't get across. But then boosts, right? So just went 11. So Bert Sands goes 12. Cools down the heat. Uses adrenaline. Okay. A lot of the times, I don't even consider this corner a corner, right? Moving 8 is decent, So I wouldn't ever panic if I was in this situation here. Yes, we can go to the line. But, I mean, say if he goes 9, right? So 1, and then 8 after. So 12. I mean, it's not that far behind. I think it's something you can definitely catch up with. And here's where I got lucky. So I got my tires back immediately. So I went here, used them, right? They went in my discard pile. It was time to reshuffle. They came right back to my hand. And then I drew a perfect 15 to get to the line here. So, yeah, the racing gods were were looking out for me here. So I decide that well, let's get through the rest of the turn. I'll tell you what my thought process was here, right? So my thought process here is I have a big enough gap between myself in second place that this corner here can give me even more breathing room, right? So what I do is I decide, well, I still haven't got through all these turns yet, sorry about that. Once we draw the cards, you'll see I actually use the wings and this 1 here to go further than any of them could probably spend enough heat to catch me, right? Plummy would have to, like, maybe shift into first gear, have 3 heat in his hand, and then boost, to catch me. So I just, like, and even that's dangerous, right? Because you'll be moving 7 just to get here for him. Mendez is in 4th gear right now. So they're not able to shift down into first gear, so I don't have to worry about him getting a bunch of heat back, right? So I move my 5. I now have a really good cushion here. All the heat's out of my hand. I have 3 heat left. Okay. Couldn't get there, so what he did was downshift in the second. so they didn't have to play 4 cards or 3 cards, you know. That probably would have made them crash there. Move 6. Doesn't have enough heat to slipstream through the turn. So just from the situation and reading how much heat they have and like what's the chances of either one of these players getting through the turn, we're pretty slim. By moving this extra space, I've created more of a gap, right? Bert starts catching up to these guys. And obviously he can't slipstream. He moved way too far. And then the Gray Legend is pulling up the rear. All right. I just want to get to here, right? Like I'm ahead, so either one of these spaces would have been fine, but with the cards in my hand, moving the 10 was all I needed to do. Okay, so I used my wing down here. Oh wait, it came back. So perfect timing for this wing to come back, right? So I'm thinking to myself, I want to get it to where I'm coming through this turn far enough that I can then, in one move, go here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is how much the wing will take me. So I go 6. Because then I can go 4. I have 4 heat. So this is a 5 corner now, right? So it'll cost me 2 heat, right? So 1 for the corner, 1 for the card. And then in this one, I'll go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll still have 2 heat. I can pay to get through this turn, right? And by then, it's pretty much over. I think this is one of the shortest distances from the last turn to the finish line. So, all right. So let's go through their turns. They're all kind of stuck back there. They're going to jostle for position amongst each other. Plummy gets pretty bad draw there. Couldn't even get a slipstream in. But he boosted. Very dangerous there, but desperate times, I guess, you know. When you're that far behind, you can do like crazy things like that. He also might know exactly what was in his deck, so. And then Bert has the heat to pay for that. Okay. So you see, I moved the 6. Pay all the heat. Go through the motions of scrapping cards and drawing. Moves 9. So the reason why I don't want, like, I doubt there's anything they can do to catch me at this point, but I really don't want to be caught here, right? That's why I want to get through this turn. Or, you know. So, I'm like, okay, I want to be in 4th gear still at the end of this game. I'll just talk while these are going here. But I won't have any heat left. So how do I get in the 4th gear just to make sure, you know? So I upshift into 3rd here. Because I need to go 4. I could spend the 3 and the 1 to go through it, or I could spend the 2, 1, and 1. It's the same distance, obviously, right? Okay. All right. Let's do the last turn there. Draw enough to get me across the line, basically. I hope, because I'm going to play the 3 and the 4 for guaranteed movements. So that's 16, right? Right here. And then if I would draw like ones, I would be like behind the line, which I definitely do not want. So, because if I would have stalled out before the goal, and they have the right cards to play, they could possibly pass me after the finish line. So, fortunately, was stuck in second gear. Probably didn't have very many low cards, and accidentally drew a 4 and a 3 and crashed there. But that was probably because he had no other options, you know. You're out of heat. You couldn't discard certain things. All right. So I'm like, the whole time, like, don't draw ones. I drew a 1. I'm like, oh no. But I had just enough to cross the line. Do the boost for good measure. And that was, I don't see where I made any mistakes there in this game. I was so excited. Because, you know, I've had games where I played really well, but had made like one mistake and it'll cost you. But this game was flawless, so I didn't go through and count all the turns, right? So I should go back and do that. See how many turns it took total to get around here twice. Because I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 turns. So pretty efficient, right? Burt slipstream so you can get around this curve. Unfortunately, Mendiez is stuck, so I don't think they did anything tactically wrong either, except for maybe like not identifying some of the cards that I picked up in the draft. You know, not remembering I have that wing or that slipstream. You know, like you have to assume if somebody drafted a slipstream here on this corner here, they're going to want to use it, right? Especially with the +1. So, but that just comes with experience, playing the game over and over and over again. So, just going to get through it. I'm just going to go through here. Through the end of the race here. Well, we just do this, right? End the game. And it'll just do each turn by itself. So Burt comes in second. Can Plummy hold off the legend car is the question, right? They tend to cheat on these last turns a lot, as I call it. And move like an obscene amount of spaces. Oh, not enough though. So Plummy's in third, Legend in fourth, and then Mendiez is in fifth. So, and he gets across here by boosting. So, but all right. So that was the game. So once again, like USA Track, these corners here, even without this slipstream bonus, are super important. You know, say if this wasn't here and I would have came around here at 4, right? I would have made it to here, and I still would be in distance of this turn, right? So, so if you're racing this track, try to be like behind somebody here, so that you can actually slipstream them around here to get to this line. Basically saves you a whole turn of movement, right? Because if I go 1, 2, 3, and can't slipstream, then I have to pay another whole turn of movement here, and then through. But if you're enjoying this content, please, like and subscribe and comment, and I will see you later.